Good afternoon. Again, my name is Michael Gardelloa, and I'm honored to be here today at the California Museum for this special event. Freedom Allies, Mary Brown and Mary Gardelloa. Along with my sisters and cousins who are with me, we are the sixth and seventh generations of direct descendants of Mary Brown, the widow of John Brown. On behalf of my family, I want to thank the museum for helping us share this important part in American history. Let me begin by sharing a little about Mary Brown herself, the woman behind the story of courage and endurance. After the raid on Harper's Ferry in 1859, and the execution of her husband, John Brown, Mary Brown and her children faced many hard years. Living on their family farm in North Elba of upstate New York, she struggled to support the family during long, harsh winters, and was often sick. In September of 1863, Mary decided to move her family west to California to start a new life with better opportunities and a more pleasant climate. It was still the time of the Civil War, and the trip was long and dangerous, traveling in covered wagons across the plains. The United States Army even gave them protection along the way because of possible attacks to Crow the feathered roofs. When it finally reached Red Bluff 1 year later, in September 1864, the people of California showed great kindness. They raised money to buy a small house for Mary and her family, and that house still stands today on Main Street in Red Bluff as a California historical landmark. Mary later lived with her family in other towns across Northern California, including San Francisco, Humboldt County, and Saratoga. Then, in 1882, she made one last trip back east to see friends, family, and her son in Ohio, and to see the old family farm in New York. For many years, our family believed that this silver chalice, the one you receive today, was given to her when she first arrived in California. But thanks to the careful research of the California Museum staff, we now believe it was presented to her sometime during her travels in 1882 by members of the African American community of Akron, Ohio. They gave it to her to honor her strength, faith, and sacrifice, for standing beside her husband and her for lifelong support of her fight against slavery. The chalice remained with Mary as a cherished possession until her death in 1884, and then stayed in our family for many generations. But we came to feel that it did not belong hidden away from the closet or drawer. It belongs here in California, to where others can see it and learn from it. So we decided to donate it to the California Museum so that future generations can remember Mary Brown and also Mary Ellen Pleasant, two brave women who fought for human freedom in very different ways. This event also reminds us how important museums are in keeping our shared history alive. Artifacts like this chalice are more than old objects. They are voices from our past. Museums like this one protects those voices. They remind us who we are and where we come from. And that's why it is so troubling to see reports that some leaders in Washington are renewing evidence about slavery and racism from our national parks and museums. One example is the famous 1863 photograph known as the Swearer's Back, showing the deep scars on the back of a man named Peter Gordon, who escaped slavery in Louisiana. That photo opened the eyes of many Americans during the Civil War to show the truth, the pain, and cruelty of slavery, and to help turn public opinion towards freedom. Now, in 2025, there are orders to take down pictures and signs like that, even at Harper's Ferry, the very place where John Brown took his stand. Officials call this information a corrosive ideology. But hiding the truth is not strength. It is fear. A great nation does not need to erase its history. It needs to face it. Honestly, we learn from the good and the bad, and the courage and the mistakes. That is what makes Americans stronger. Here in California and in Cincinnati, we are choosing truths. We are saying that our history and all of it matters. By remembering people like Mary Grouse and Mary Ellen Fudge, who are protecting not just their stories, but our shared beliefs in freedom and justice. And rebuild this chalice today, let us remind us that freedom is never automatic. It must be protected and cared for. Let it stand as a symbol of faith, courage, and compassion, the same values that guided Mary Brown throughout her life. In conclusion, it is now my honor to unveil the Mary Brown Chalice. That's like the California.